Hello and welcome to your Pilates for Golf program. This is a 5-part program designed for anyone who plays golf and loves golf, no matter what your ability or how long you've been playing. All of these sessions cover something slightly different to help optimize your game, allow you to be more comfortable and get more from your technique, but to also help you stay injury-free and playing for as long as you want to. So today we're really going to focus on thoracic and hip mobility, a key part of allowing us to rotate effectively through our swing and to get a lovely range of motion as we play. So to start with, before we even really get into the Pilates, we're just going to take a little test. So we're going to bring our feet hip distance, soften the knees, grow nice and tall, rolling the shoulders back, palms are going to press together and we create nice long collarbones. Elbows are coming out nice and wide and we're really going to focus on keeping our hips and knees pointing forwards and growing nice and tall. We're going to exhale, we're going to rotate round to one side, just through that upper body as far as you can, and then we're going to inhale back to center. We're going to exhale and rotate through the other side. And now I really want you to focus on keeping your hips and knees pointing forwards, and we're just going to rotate your rib cage on top of your pelvis. And just see how that feels, see how far you can go. But I want you to be mindful that you don't stop through your back and keep your arms going. Often that's a little trick that we do to make us feel like we're going further. Keep your hands in line with your breastbone and try and just get a little gauge for how far you can go and how the back feels as we rotate and move. Okay, just one more. And then after today's session, we're going to retest that again and hopefully it should feel quite different. But this first session is really designed for you to do throughout your week at home and is designed to free you up and really get you moving, so then when you do go onto the course or range, you can move a bit more freely and without so much resistance, because especially as we age, we lose a lot of mobility, especially through our spine and through our hips, which is key for golf. But as we go through the program, we'll cover lots of other things, including posture, back care, but then also balance and stability, allowing us to get power from the ground up into our swing. And then of course, glute strength as well as weight transfer to allow us to create a nice powerful swing as well. But we're going to get started. So we're going to take some roll downs and then we'll come onto the floor. So just like we did before, feet are going parallel, soften the knees, grow nice and tall. Just allowing the body to soften, shoulders to soften, but we're thinking about growing tall. Imagine I'm pulling you up by the crown of your head as we start to breathe. We're going to inhale, we shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, and we're going to exhale to draw the shoulders down the back. So nice big, smooth shoulder circles. As we just start to synchronize with the breath, checking in with the body, see how we feel as we start to move. Good. Well done. 2 more. Trying to really exaggerate those shoulder circles. Well done. Drawing shoulders back and down, we keep the knees soft. We keep growing tall through the spine, but then as we exhale, we're going to just fold the chin to the chest, and then the ribs and belly button will feel like they're pulling back as we start to roll the shoulders and round through upper spine. We're going to start to lengthen the fingertips down the legs as we reach towards the toes. And especially for this first one, we're just seeing how it feels. If you're particularly tight into the back of the legs, you might just soften into those knees a little bit more just to allow you to free that upper body. But hold here, let the back of the neck be long, crown of the head draws towards the mat. We take a nice big breath in, we're going to breathe out, press into the feet, tuck the tailbone, scoop belly button to spine as we slowly restack bone by bone, squeezing the glutes but keeping the knees soft to roll the shoulders back and lift out of the crown of the head. Good, to grow tall. Well done, we've got 2 more. Breathing in, breathing out, tucking chin to chest, ribs and belly button pull back, trying to get that nice articulation, almost like a waterfall as we fold forwards, flowing towards the toes, opening up the back of the body. Just taking a moment just to see where the weight is through our feet. Sometimes we might rock all of that weight back into our heels. Equally, you might notice it's all in the toes, but you just want to spread that weight evenly through the feet.
Take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, press into the feet at the tailbone, peeling up through the spine, bone by bone, to grow nice and tall. Well done. Okay, we're coming on to our last one, and we'll roll to the mat. So exactly the same, exhaling, thinking about the top of the spine, through ribs and mid-back, through lower spine, rolling towards the toes, pausing to hold here. And then as we exhale, we can bend into the knees. We're going to walk out onto all fours, coming down onto the mat. And hands are just going under shoulders, knees roughly under hips as we take our cat-cows. So soft elbows, spread the fingers wide. We're going to exhale as we round chin to chest, looking towards your belly button as you try and press the floor away and round the spine to the sky. We take a breath in. And then we exhale. We're going to untuck the tailbone and the belly button will start to draw towards the mat. Shoulder blades will pinch together as the head comes up to look forwards. And then we repeat. We exhale, tuck the tailbone, using that tummy, arms are active as we press the floor away, folding chin to chest. And then we just keep that going. Trying to exaggerate those two movements, trying to really open up the spine and shoulders. And you want to think of that movement almost like a ripple or a wave. From the tip of your tailbone, it comes all the way along the spine, all the way up to the base of the head and out through the crown. Lovely, and it's nice and smooth. If anything is slightly sore or stiff, you might just go gently, not pushing through pain, but over time, we should start to feel like we can get a little bit more movement here. Okay, but then we're going to soften into our neutral spine. So somewhere roughly in that midpoint, rolling shoulders back. We're going to take left hand behind our head, left elbow is pointing out to the side, but then we're going to sweep it down, bending into right elbow, almost like you're trying to tap that right wrist crease. You might not get there, don't worry, do what you can, but then we're going to try and open that left elbow to the sky. We repeat, we inhale to come down, tapping to the wrist if you can as we look to the right, and then inhaling to open. Good. So really starting to get into the rotation of our thoracic spine now. Good. Keeping it smooth. Last one, we're going to reach up, and this time we can extend the arm, reach into the sky, look past the fingertips. We take a breath in, and now we're taking a full thread the needle. We're going to reach down and through under that arm as we soften into right elbow. When you can't go any further, we inhale to come up. Good. Just watching that we're not rocking the weight too far back. Try and keep that right shoulder stacked over your wrist. Good, 2 more. Trying to stabilize across the hips to allow us to move and rotate into the upper back. Last one. Good work. We take that over to the other side. So left hand will come down. Right hand is just behind the head. That right elbow is sweeping directly out to 90 degrees. And then we're going to bend into that left elbow, tapping to that left wrist crease. And then we inhale to open, trying to open the elbow and chest to the sky. And then we exhale to repeat. Good, well done. We've got about 2 more here before we go long. But don't worry if it feels hard. This is a tricky one. And it will get easier. That's the aim of the program, is to make all of this a lot more easier, a lot more natural. Okay, from here we reach up. When you can't go any further, we can extend the arm, look to the sky, take a breath in, and then we breathe out, softening into left elbow as we reach down and through. Good, keep that going. Each time, just trying to go a little bit further, whether that's a little bit deeper into that rotation this way, or trying to shine that breastbone to the sky. Well done, we take 2 more. Good job, last one. Well done. From here, we're going to come into a split kneel and bring in the hips a little bit more. So we're going to step left foot forwards and we're going to open the right hip. If you do get uncomfortable on your knees, of course you can grab a cushion or a rolled up towel for under that back knee just to make it a little bit more comfortable.
but we're going to focus on stretching and opening our right hip flexor. So in this position, naturally, sometimes we want to arch into our lower back. I want you to tuck your tailbone, draw your belly button to spine, and try and draw that tailbone underneath you. As you do that, you should notice a little bit more stretch into that right hip flexor. We keep that position. Arms are coming up overhead. Reach like you're trying to touch the sky and float your rib cage off your pelvis. Don't lose the tuck of the tailbone, but we can start to sink into the hips a little bit more and open up that right hip flexor. We hold and breathe. Good, well done. And then on your next exhale, we're going to fold forwards. So we start to press into that left foot. We start to hinge through that hip. Hands will come forwards, but we're really focusing on keeping a long spine here. We should for now feel that stretch down the back of that left leg, particularly into your high hamstring. And depending how you're feeling, hands can go onto that leg just above the knee. You might go shin. You might be able to reach for the toes or even to the floor. But I don't want you to be really rounding here. We're thinking about drawing shoulders down the back. Long spine, lengthening out into your seat, into your sitting bones, into your tailbone to really get into that high hamstring. Good, take a breath. And then we repeat. So we fold and lift the chest. Good, reach to touch the sky, tuck the tailbone and squeeze the glutes, bringing in that right hip flexor. But as we start to do this, you might notice you can go a little bit further and just press into those hips a little bit more. Taking a nice deep breath, nice proud chest. And then we exhale to fold again. Long spine, hinging at the hip, lengthening out through your sitting bones, through your tailbone. Again, this is a strong stretch, so don't worry if you don't feel very good. It's really getting into your high hamstring, which is so often where we get tight. So really good to open up those hamstrings for the legs and for the posture to allow you to keep that nice spinal position. But good, final time, flexing into that knee. We tuck the tailbone, sinking into the hips, good. Growing really nice and tall, reaching to touch the sky, but make sure you don't have a big arch through that lower back. Keep tucking the tailbone. It keeps the stretch into your hip flexor rather than just loading your spine. And then final time, folding forwards, long spine. See how that hamstring is, trying to sit back into it. Good, breathe nice and deeply, shoulders drawing down the back. Well done. From here, we can bring our hands down and we're going to walk them forwards. This left foot is going to come all the way out to the side, ideally to 90 degrees from our hip. If that's too much, you can always start with the foot a little bit further back behind you. But otherwise, like I say, out to 90, toes are pointing forwards. Hands just going to step out from underneath our shoulders and we're going to rock the hips forwards and backwards. Trying to keep a nice long spine, but now we're getting into those hips a little bit more. So starting to stretch a bit more into your adductors, into your inner thighs to really open up the hips. Good. If it does feel quite strong, just keep the movement small initially, and then as you warm up into it, you might find you can start to go a bit further. But otherwise, we start to really sit the hip towards the heel, and then as you come forwards as well, we can start to open the hips towards the hands. Good. Keeping that long spine though, keeping that nice posture into the upper body. Good. Last one. Well done. We're going to step the hands just back in underneath shoulders. Our hip is over that right knee. Left arm is going to sweep to the sky as we take a breath in. We're going to thread that needle again. So then as we exhale, we're going to sweep left hand down and through, softening into right elbow, but keeping that left leg long. And then we repeat. We inhale to open. Good. Exhale, twist. Well done. 3 more. Really watching that that left knee doesn't want to bend. Well done. And again, trying to go a little bit further with each repetition. You'll notice we're doing a lot of rotation, so we're really going to help that swing, really getting into that mid back. Well done. Finishing that last one. And then we can fold back in. We're coming into our split kneel on the other side now. So right foot will step forwards. Growing nice and tall. We're going to sweep the hands up over the head, growing really nice and tall, like we're trying to float our rib cage off our pelvis as we tuck tailbone, squeezing the glutes, drawing belly button to spine. We keep that nice spinal position, keep tucking the tailbone, but as we feel we can just sink into that left hip a little bit more now as we hold and breathe here. Good, really trying to open through that hip flexor. As we hold, and then on our next exhale, we're going to start to fold again like we did on the other side. So we lengthen the spine, hinge at the hip. Don't instantly just reach and round for the toes. Focus on that hip hinge. So keeping that nice long leg and that stretch into that high hamstring. Good. Hold and breathe, whether you're keeping your hands on your thigh, shin, or toes. Focus on drawing the shoulders back. You can keep a little bend in the knee if you need to. Is a strong stretch, but we're going to move through it. So then hands come forwards, tuck the tailbone, rise up, grow really tall. Tuck the tailbone though now. Think about tightening that hip flexor that attaches just in and above our big hip bone. And breathe here. Draw the shoulders down the back. We don't want to hunch or round. When you're ready, folding again, long leg into that right side. And you might notice a difference side to side. It's always good just to check in, see how it compares. But over time, we want to obviously build that symmetry and improve that flexibility. Brilliant, well done. Final time. Sweeping up, tuck the tailbone, but we're really lifting out through the arms, reaching through fingertips, tuck the tailbone, but then as you feel you can, try and sink into those hips a little bit more to increase that hip flexor stretch. Good, we breathe in and then we breathe out. Final time, folding forwards, long spine, lengthening through your seat, through your sitting bones, through your tailbone, isolating into that high hamstring where it attaches into our sitting bone. Well done. Then we can bend that knee. We're going to walk our hands forwards and walk or slide that right foot out to the side, out to 90 degrees ideally, toes pointing forwards. And that foot stays nice and grounded. We're going to just step the hands out a little, keep the long spine as we just gently start to rock forwards and backwards, just to see how that feels. And then as we get more comfortable with that, opening up into our adductors and inner thigh, we can start to make that movement a little bit bigger. But by all means, don't force anything, especially if it's uncomfortable, into the knee. You don't have to push too far back into it. We don't want to be pushing through pain. But we can also push forwards into the hip flexors as well, if that feels good for you. Keeping that breathing going. Last one. Left hip stacks over left knee. Hands are going to step in underneath shoulders. We keep that right leg long. Right arm is going to sweep to the sky, shining breastbone to the ceiling. We take a breath in. We breathe out. We're going to soften into left elbow as we reach down and through. When you can't go any further, we repeat. So we inhale to open and then exhale to twist. Well done. 3 more. Watching, we're not rocking the weight back here, especially if you're stiff and tight. You might shift the hips a long way back, but we want to keep that left shoulder stacked somewhere roughly over that left wrist. But well done. Taking your last one. Good job. We bring it down. Okay, we're going to come down onto our side now. You can grab a cushion for this one if you need to, or a head block, but not essential. We're just going to do my favorite stretch now, our arm openers. So your top knee is going to come onto the mat or onto the floor in front of you, and hands are going to come out. We've got a long waist. That top hand is going to slide away from you. It's almost like an aeroplane. It's going to take off up towards the sky. We keep looking at the hand as you open out through the chest like a book as we go as far as you can. trying to always look to the palm. When you can't go any further, we can bend the arm. We're going to slide it back across our rib cage, and then we go again. Lovely, keeping it nice and smooth. And like I say, like before, we're just trying to take it to that point where you can, but then each time with each repetition, just trying to sink into it a little bit more. You can always hold for longer than me if that feels good. Use your breath. We're really trying to soften and bring the rib cage with us. So everything from sort of hip down will stay nice and still. And that's why the knee is in front of us, to help us anchor the hips. But then the ribs and the torso, that waist is really lengthening and rotating. Well done. Taking your last one. And important, we keep trying to look at that hand to get the rotation all the way up into the upper spine as well. Well done. Finishing that one you're on. You can always just roll over. I'm going to sit up and come down onto the other side so I stay facing you. And we do the same here. See how the other side compares. So top knee is going to come down. And you might really, depending if you're left-handed or right-handed on your swing, you might really notice a difference already from one side to the other. So we're going to go other side, sliding that top hand away from you first. So it's like that aeroplane. So we get length through the arm. We're going to exhale into that rotation, pausing to hold, taking that little measure of how far we can go before folding to come back in. But then we repeat, just keeping it nice and smooth, nice and fluid. Really important we keep breathing through those stretches, especially if they feel difficult and tight. We might want to hold our breath. But with each exhale, try and soften into that stretch a little bit more. Good, just two more. We're almost done. Good, coming up. Good, softening the arm, letting gravity just open those ribs, using the weight of the arm to rotate a little bit more. And then coming back to the start. We turn onto our back. Last little bit here. Bringing the rotation and the hip mobility together, we're going to just cross into a figure four glute position. So we're going to cross right ankle onto our left knee, and to start with, you're just going to try and press that right knee away from you to open into that right hip. Especially if you're really tight into your glutes, you might notice that knee really wants to point up towards your chest. So just try and press it away from you. Take a breath. Good. We're going to try and keep the leg there. Hands are coming out nice and wide. Palms can go down or facing the sky, whatever feels more comfortable to you. But very slowly, we're just going to exhale. We're going to roll our hips towards the left. So almost like we're going to tap that big toe of our right leg onto the left side. Good, as we come into our rotation. We inhale to come back up, and then we exhale to go again. Good. So nice and smooth, nice and controlled. We don't want to feel like gravity is just pulling us into that stretch. We're controlling that lowering and that lift. Okay. Good. Shoulders should stay nice and grounded, especially that right shoulder. But you can try and just use those arms gently if you feel you need a little bit of help into that movement. But well done. We just take one more. And you might not get to the floor, don't worry. Start with what you can do, and then we can build it over time. But brilliant, well done. We're going to unravel the legs, same on the other side. Crossing left ankle onto right knee to start with. We're just going to press that left knee away from us. Open the left hip as we hold here. My left is my tighter side, so you might have a tighter side too. Very common, depending on dominant sides, what activity we do. But again, we want to just keep those differences in check, and we don't want the differences to become too big, else then they can cause long-term imbalances, and that's when injuries creep in. Okay, we're going to keep that left leg there. Hands can come out again. Breathing in, breathing out. We gently roll the legs to the right. And then inhale to come back up. So we're keeping that movement nice and smooth, lengthening through that left waist and into that left glute. Yeah, well done. Keeping it nice and smooth. Almost like your waist is a wet cloth. We're trying to wring it out through our waist with that rotation. Keeping it nice and smooth. Just 2 more. Good work. Well done. Finishing that when you're on, we're gently just going to uncross the legs and we can transition back over onto all fours. Coming onto all fours, knees and feet are hip distance and parallel. We're going to tuck the toes. We start to walk our hands back towards our feet, coming to sit onto our heels for a second if that feels okay. We're going to exhale, we fold forwards, finding the bottom of our roll down, just like we did before. So softening into the knees, taking a moment just to center ourselves over the feet. Relax the upper body. Let the legs be long. Upper body is nice and loose. Crown of the head draws towards the mat. Back of the neck is long. Head is heavy. Good. We take a nice big breath in and then we're going to breathe out. We press into the feet, tuck the tailbone, peeling up bone by bone, drawing belly button to spine, but keeping the knees soft. To grow really nice and tall, let your head settle as we just soften into the knees and roll the shoulders. And then we're going to test again. So the same test that we did in the beginning. So we're going to soften into the knees, finding that prayer pose with the palms. Elbows go out nice and wide and we've got long collarbones. We're going to really focus on keeping hips and knees pointing forwards. We're going to inhale as we rotate to one side. And exhale to twist. Good, and we're just gently going to alternate. Just making a mental note, see how that feels. Maybe and hopefully you should feel like you can just go a little bit further. Might feel a little bit freer, or maybe just a little bit more symmetrical. But well done. We'll take one more each side. Last one. Well done. And you're all finished. That is part 1 complete. Watch into lesson 2 for your pre-round warm-up.